Nityam Bhagavata Bhagavati Tamasmati Bhakti Bhavati Rayanam Raskritya Ramacharya Devim Saraswati Krishna Isvadamo Bhagate Dharmaganadi Bisa Kalo Nasta Vishavesha Varnakadadanta Sarvavedanta Sarvika Srimad Bhagavatam Shivajarashite Tarasarvajidasya Danyachara Sarachi Kuche Krishna Toya Bhagavata Vivisarvashaya Padikshakri Padikshari Nanartakai Ramaya Bhagavata Krishna Rishiyanga Tayate Kainiyata Gopi Krishna Srimad Bhagavatam Mahaprabhu Gita. Wait for some water, right? Canto, 7th Canto. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare.
The bottle is not there.
Just bring a glass of hot water, man. What's the big deal? She ask for water, not a whole bottle. Can't drink a whole bottle.
Divert the camera.
Okay, this is 7th Canto Bhagavatam, Saturday Bhagavatam class. And we're starting a new canto, 7th Canto. The first 10 chapters of the 7th Canto are dedicated to teachings of Prahlad Maharaj and the story of killing of Hiranyakashipu, the demoniac father of Prahlad Maharaj, by Lord Nrsingadev. So the first verse, Pariksha wants to know, King Pariksha asks Shukadev to describe how Krishna is impartial. The title of the chapter is Impartiality of Krishna Bhagavan. And Krishna gives a summary of the chapter. He says that this chapter, 7th Canto, describes two types of inclinations. One type of inclination is of the demoniac demons. Their inclination, their tendency and desire to act is develops or arises from anger. And the auspicious inclination comes from mercy of devotees. So this canto, 7th Canto, also glorifies 3 types of devotees. What types are they, do you know?
Karma Mishra Bhakta.
Karma Mishra Bhakta.
Jnana Mishra Bhakta and Shuddha Bhakta.
Thank you. Shuddha Bhaktas, they have mostly bhakti with a little bit of jnana and karma. And then there's Karma Mishra Bhaktis, there's pure devotees, Shuddha Bhaktas, and those that are mixed with jnana and karma is Karma Mishra, and those who are mixed with karma and jnana. So Hiranyakashipu, his impetus for action was anger and pride. So this is inauspiciousness. And it says it was inborn, which means it was some scar that he had. So he carried over from last life. What was his last life? Ravana and Kumbhakarna. No, that's next life. So before that, so somehow it's inborn, means just from birth he was angry. I guess he was still angry at the Kumaras. Because that's what happened to start with. You know, they cursed him, and he cursed them, and they cursed each other. So the cause of that ancient anger was the Kumaras, the anger of the Kumaras. So he got angry in return and held on to it, and he took it to his next birth. So you have to be careful how we interact with people, because they can make such a deep impression on our consciousness that affects our next birth. Hiranyakashipu is suffering from the anger that he was experiencing as the gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. Jai Vijay. Close that door. There's no wide open. The incarnation for Vir Bhakti of Prahlad was his auspicious. He became full of auspiciousness and inclination act purely because of the mercy of Narada Muni, teaching him in the womb of Kayadu. His mother's name was Kayadu. He heard the Bhagavad Purana from inside the womb of his mother from Narada Muni. So he was a devotee. While he's in the womb, he was a devotee. So he was protected from his demoniac father. So the 10 chapters of the 7th Canto describe the subject of Shuddha Bhakti. And it begins with the first 5 chapters show how Bhakti attained through a guru of similar Bhakti is a minor element of karma and Gyan, or a major element of the mixture of karma and Gyan, in order to attain one's respective goals. The interesting point here, Vishnu makes, that when one takes diksha from a guru, he gets the same type of bhakti that the guru has. He says one will attain through a guru of a similar bhakti. If you get the similar bhakti of the guru, you take shelter of. That's why it's told, if you're interested in Raganuga Bhakti and being a servant of Radharani, you should take diksha from Raganuga Bhakta, who's in the mood of service of Radharani. It should be very clear. It shouldn't be some secret, hidden, imaginary thing you don't even know. You just ask your guru point blankly, what's your sairati? You say, I ain't got none. Say, okay, I'm moving on down. Moving on down the river. Try my boat up somewhere else. If the Lord is equal, how can he show partiality? What verse in the Gita describes partiality of Krishna?
Samoham sarva bhuteshu name deshasti na priya e bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai tetesu chapyaham. So Krishna's a double talker. He starts off by saying, I'm equal to everyone. And everyone says, that's good. And he says, no, I'm not equal. Oh, that's very bad. Why not? Because I play favorites. I play favorites. Someone who loves me, I'm duty bound, I'm heart bound to love them in return. So, you love me, I love you. You don't love me, I don't love you. So I have a dualistic view of people, although I say I'm equal. I'm equal because everybody has the mercy to live and live out their karma. Everybody's living out their karma because of me. So I'm not giving more karma to my devotees and less karma to my non-devotees. I'm giving everybody, everything's equal. But with love is one thing is different. I give everything to everyone, but my love I give to special people that specially love me. So the special people that specially love Krishna are called devotees, and Krishna is the devotee of devotees, and devotees are devotees of Krishna. So it's the way, it's a play of love. Love is not fair. They say it's all fair in love and war.
They say it's all fair in love and war, but it's not. Love is not fair, and neither is war. Or as most weapons wins. So it's not fair. You have more weapons than me. So if Krishna is equal, how can he show partiality? If he's affectionate to all living beings, why is he more affectionate to devotees and not affectionate to demons? These were questions that we answered in this chapter. Okay, let's get into it. This is chapter 1, 7th Canto.
There's a lot of interesting things here about the difference between Atma and Prakriti, spiritual identity, about the gunas, and verse number 8, read the Sanskrit.
जय काले तु सत्वस्य देवर्षीन् राजसोऽसुरान् तमसो यक्ष रक्षांसि सत्कालानुगुणो अभजत्.
When sattva becomes prominent, Bhagavan favors the devatas and sages. When rajas becomes prominent, he favors the rakshas, the asuras. When tamas or ignorance becomes prominent, Bhagavan favors yakshas and rakshasas. Thus Bhagavan acts according to time. Commentary. Since the three gunas are insentient, they don't have any power to increase or decrease by themselves. Therefore, Krishna enters the modes of nature as the supreme controller. When sattva becomes prominent, through sattva gun, Krishna favors devatas and sages and devotees. As much as sattva becomes prominent, the bodies suitable for sattva become prominent. Entering their bodies, Krishna increases their strength and restricts the demons and rakshasas. When rajas becomes prominent, Krishna favors the demons. Everything is going on according to time. The cause of increase of a guna is time, not Krishna himself. So time is like what he said. Namitta Karan and Udapan what's the other one? Upadan, thank you. Upadan Karan is Bhagavan, the efficient cause, immediate cause is Namitta Karan, is time, Kala. Or Kala. In verse number 11, Krishna creates time, which acts as an assistant, his assistant, since time is a form of Krishna's action. Like how does Krishna act to make fruits get ripe?
Time.
Fruits get ripe in their own time. So bhakti matures in its own time. So the meaning is this: when Krishna desires to create by his own will, the time for creation with an increase of rajas appears. When Krishna desires to maintain, the time for protection and maintenance with sattva appears. When Krishna desires to destroy, the time of destruction with increase of tamas appears. So basically, time, Kal, follows the Isha Shakti of Krishna. Kal is a Shakti. The Kal is represented by Krishna's, what weapon is representing Kala? Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra has 360 spokes. What are they representing?
Days.
Directions.
360 days in the Vedic year. So each day is a portion of time, and altogether it's called the wheel of time, Kala Chakra, the circle of time. We're going one by one day by one day. And so when that chakra acts on your head, your time is up. No more, time's out. So let's see what we have on page, verse number 12. Says that the devatas are called Surapriya. Very nice description. Krishna as time is a friend of the devatas. That's nice. So let's see the commentary. Krishna is affectionate to devatas, Surya Priya. Priya means affection also. Though this is favoritism, it's a decoration, it's ornament, it's not a fault. As the Gita says,
Samoham sarvabhuteshu.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Nametreshu sriyapriya. Mei vijanti tumabhatya. Maite seshu. I'm envy no one, I'm not partial to anyone, but I'm partial to my devotees. Anyway, but that but word is problematic. Sometimes devatas are defeated. Why is that happening?
Because of increase in Rajaguna.
Because increase in
Yeah. We're going to the verb word. Verse 12. This is the arrangement of Krishna to reduce the pride of the devatas. So our devatas are called Sura. Our Vaishnava is also called Sura. The answer is yes. Or devas on earth. So what happens when we become proud? Krishna cuts us down. Pride precedes a fall. What goes up must come down. So how can you say that Krishna is affectionate and is a friend of everyone? Why can I say that? How can you say that?
because he is nourishing everyone.
Now, what's an example? They're just saying that. There's no example. There's so many examples of that.
Food?
Food, yes.
Right?
Food. Food. Food.
Putana.
Food. Putana. Okay.
What are you saying? Food?
Yes.
They say food.
Putana.
Food.
Air. Putana.
Yeah, that's also that's maintenance program. But it's showed privilege to a friend because he gave her a place in the spiritual world, made her a nurse. And that verse is there on the third Canto of Bhagavatam. Who spoke that verse?
Dua.
Uddhava spoke this verse. He said, Deve Gatim Dachi Uchitam. She went up to become a nurse. She went to Gatim, Lebe Gatim Datri. Datri means nurse. Look at the verse. 3:2:23. Lebe, she attained, she acquired Gatim, the spiritual world. Datri Uchitam, she achieved a Datri Rup, the form of a nurse of Krishna. So it's pretty friendly relationship. Because she's offering her breast like a mother to Krishna, so she's doing that eternally. In the Parakoshta of Nitya Gokul and Goloka Vrindavan. Because every Leela of Krishna is eternal. So Krishna is eternally sucking Putana's breast. And Krishna, but there he's not spitting out poison, he's drinking the milk. And he's eternally drinking the milk from Yashoda's breast, and Devaki's breast, and the Parakoshta of Mathura. Every place in the spiritual world is eternal, every Leela is eternally going on. It's inconceivable and unlimited variety. They have fan programs. That's here. Let's go on here. Okay. Look at verse number 29. What is the value of this verse? What is the deeper meaning? What's the meaning of this verse? What meaning do you derive from this verse?
Oh, yes, that we become our next life. In our next life, we become what we are absorbed in this life.
You are what you think. You become what you think.
Especially at the time of death.
Yeah, this verse is there in the 7th canto. Where else is this verse? It's in the 7th canto and 11th canto also. Almost the same thing about a bee catches a little worm and takes the worm to his nest and puts him, keeps him, the worm is alive, and the worm is stuffed in a room in the nest of the bee. And the worm is looking at the bee and thinking of the bee, thinking of the form of the bee, and thinking he's going to eat me, he's going to kill me. He becomes absorbed in the bee, and he undergoes what they call metamorphosis. Because every day he's thinking of the bee, he's going to eat me, and finally he dies from lack of oxygen or water or whatever. And then the bee eats him. But the whole time he's thinking of the bee rufum, form of the bee. So when he dies, he changes his form. Next life he appears as a bee. And the cycle goes on. So the idea, this verse is quoted by Raghunaga Vaishnava was preaching Leela Smaran and Manjari Swarup Dhyan, meditating on the Manjari Swarup or Siddhadeha. We're always trying to visualize and picture our Siddhadeha as described by Guru or revealed by Krishna. We're meditating on it, trying to see it in our mind's eye, and maybe make paintings of it or draw paintings of it, and think about it and find reminders of it here and there. We see different colored dresses and different inspirations to remind us. So this way we always try to stay in touch with our Siddhadeha. Because that Siddhadeha is perfect and it's nitya. It's an eternal body. This material body we have, which we're so attached to and too much spending time taking care of and grooming and bathing and everything, it's only temporary. It only lasts for a few days, a few years. So if you fix our mind like the worm is fixing your mind on the bee, you will become a gopi. It's interesting because the word for bee and the word for gopi is the same. The word for bee in Sanskrit is ali. And ali means gopi. What's the famous verse has this word in it? Pranam, it's the pranam mantra for Yoga Pit. Vrindavan Yoga Pit. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, hallelujah. It's also a pranam prayer to Radha Govinda.
Yes.
Because they were discovered in the Yoga Pit by Rupa Goswami.
Divya
Divya Brindarani Kalachumuda Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastra Srimad Srila Radha Govinda Deva Krishna Krishna Ali. Krishna Ali means the Parama Krishna Sakis. What's another name for Parama Krishna Sakis? No. You don't know. Too smart. Kriya Narma Sakis. Parama Krishna Sakis, who are they? Lita Vishaka, Chitrindaleka.
Champaka Rangadevi Tungvijay Sudevi Kijai.
Yeah. Champak Rangadevi Tungvijay Sudevi Kijai. To be exact. So, who are they're called Varishta Sakis. Who are the Vara Sakis? Too smart. Ananga Manjari is one.
Oh, Philikalika?
Ananga Manjari, Kalavati, Shivangada,
Hiranganji.
Hirangi.
Kandarpa.
Not yet.
Oh.
Ratnareka, Shikavati, Kandarva, Phokalika.
Ah.
Come on, guys. Varasakis. In our yoga pit we call Ubasakis.
Huh.
But around Krishna consciousness, they're called what?
Exalted gold.
Varasakis. Exalted also. Exalted Gopis. Exalted English. But Vara. Hey, go Vardhan. Vara means exalted, extra, special mountain. Now the next verse is also very important. It shows that any way you're absorbed in Krishna, you can attain Krishna. So read this verse 30, chapter 1.
कामाद् द्वेषाद् भयात् स्नेहाद् यथा भक्तेश्वरे मना आवेश्य तदगं हित्वा बहवस्तद्गतिं गता.
Many persons have attained siddhas by absorbing their minds in Krishna, with their minds full of lust for Krishna, hatred for Krishna, fear of Krishna, or having a family relationship with Krishna, filled with affection. And after giving up absorption, anger, or enmity of Krishna, in the case of hatred and fear, they got a spiritual deha. So he explains, gives examples of that, verse 31. Read it.
गोप्य कामाद्भयात् कंसो द्वेषाश्चैद्यादयो नृपा सम्बन्धात् कृष्णय स्नेहात् यूयं भक्त्या वयं विभो.
So the gopis attain Krishna by kam, which means lust, but it really means prema. And fear, who attain?
Kamsa.
Kamsa. Kamsa was afraid of what?
Death.
Afraid of death. Because it was predicted that the eighth son of Devaki would kill him. The eighth son was born and hidden away in Gokul. All day long, all night long, Kamsa was worried about when's that guy going to come and kill me. I'm afraid, but he's just thinking of Krishna. He knew what he liked, he knew exactly what he looked like. Because so many demons went there, didn't come back. But Narada Muni told him what he looked like. There's stories, some stories that they tell in Brajmandal Parikama. I don't know where they're from, but there's a story, nice story. That Kamsa was so much afraid of Krishna and Balaram also. He had two wives. He had two wives who were the daughters of who? Shishupal. The wives of Kamsa were the daughters of Shishupal. One's name was Prapti and the other was Apti or something like that. Prapti and Apti. So one wore a yellow dress, one wore a blue dress. So one day they came in the evening time and dusked into the royal bedroom of Kamsa, his two wives. And he saw them in the dim light of the evening. He became very frightened. He thought it was Krishna Balaram. He called the guards, "Come guards, Chokidar, either out, jaldi out, come quickly. Krishna Balaram here to kill me, they're going to kill me." And his wives were looking at the guy. "We're not that bad. We're not going to kill him, we'd like to, but..." It's not a bad idea. But he was so he was possessed by fear. You couldn't even see straight. So, who attained Krishna by envy? Shishupal. And the Yadavas and the Pandavas, how they attain Krishna? By Sambandha, praying Sambandha. So that's the thing. Krishna qualifies the word calm here. Lust means love arising from intense spiritual affection. What's it called? What's the Sanskrit term for the Gopis' love?
Kama.
Samartarati. You guys forgot it. Because they didn't have any calm, but they attained Krishna. Because they had pure love. Who had common attained Krishna?
Kuja.
Kuja. So what's her love called?
Sadharani.
Sadharani, which means, what does the word Sadharani mean in Sanskrit?
No. Normal, general.
Yeah, it means commonplace, normal, everyday lust. There's stuff we know about. Your lust, my lust, our lust. The material world lust, she had a good dose of that. As soon as she became beautiful, what entered her mind?
Krishna's taking off Krishna's dhoti.
She ripping off Krishna's dhoti on the street of Mathura in front of the cowherd boys. Krishna wouldn't have minded if she ripped off the dhoti and it wasn't cowherd boys.
Balaram started laughing at him, so he was
Balaram-
embarrassed.
Balaram was nothing more than getting embarrassed in front of an older brother.
Yeah.
So Krishna, what cute underwear you have on today. So, Kamsa Chi Suyucha Mukti Shishapal Dantamakram Pandraka Chi Srupya. Other enemies achieve Saluja Salokya. And all this certain things to say. Okay, let's go on here. These are very important verses of this chapter. Chapter 1, verse 29 and verse 30. No, 29, 30, and 31 are very important verses of chapter 1, the 7th canto, for philosophical Siddhanta. Then it goes to a little flashback of how Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha became demoniac bodies. They were trying to be trying in the spiritual world, as explained in verse 35. So, Krishna asked the commentary, how can devotees get affected by a curse? Because they were Siddhadeyas. How can they fall down? It happens to Vaikuntha have no material body and no material birth. They have pure spiritual bodies. So sometimes some spiritual groups, they say we fell from the spiritual world. They say we got envious of Krishna and we left the spiritual world. But envy is only possible in the material world. There's still envy in the spiritual world. There's no material mind in the spiritual world to produce envy or anger. So it becomes a little questionable how that's possible. So Kavarava's commentary on this verse. We'll look at that now. Let me show us this sound here. This is interesting, Prabhupada's translation of verse 29. It's quite inspiring. Chapter 1, verse 29, Prabhupada's translation. If a conditioned soul thinks of Krishna, they will become free from all their sins. If they think of Krishna as their lover, as their friend, they will attain spiritual bodies through Siddhi. That's there in verse 28. Vindate tat sarupatam. Now let's look at the verse in question. It's verse 35. This translation commentary by Prabhupada. Yudhishthira inquired, what kind of curse could even liberated Vishnu Bhaktas experience? How is it possible for pure devotees of Krishna to fall back to the material world? I cannot understand this. Prabhupada's commentary. In Bhagavad Gita, age 16, what is that verse? Brahma Bhuvanaloka.
ब्रह्म भुवनालोक पुनरावर्तिनोचुन आमुपेत्यत कौन्ते या पुनर्जन्मन विद्यते.
Was a translation. From the highest point in the material world, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest, all our planets are rebirth. But when it comes to the spiritual world, it never takes birth again. So, Mam Upete to Konteya Punarjana Vidyate. And Krishna Prabhupada says, Krishna, Prabhupada quotes that verse, and he quotes Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Drama karma.
एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन.
So one who remembers Krishna's birth and appearance and leelas, goes to the spiritual world, doesn't come back again. So that same point is described in verse 35. Prabhupada's commentary on verse 35 is here. So how did the associates of Vishnu and Vaikuntha, these Prabhupada says, they do not actually fall. They came to the material world to fulfill the desire of Vishnu. Vishnu wanted to fight, so there's no one qualified or powerful enough to fight unless there is devotee.
Oh.
So it's Krishna, Vishnu fights with his devotees. Sometimes we meet Krishna Bhaktas that say they're fighting with their Krishna. I know, I told you this story, a person was a Radharaman Bhakta. They go in the Radharaman temple and Radharaman did something, they got angry with him, so they had a fight with Radharaman. And they went into Madan and they didn't go for darshan. I said, why you didn't go for darshan? They said, I have a fight with Radharaman. I'm not talking to him. I don't want to see him until he makes up. So he makes up with me. So devotees can have that kind of relationship, get into a fight with Bhagavan. So Vishnu wanted to have a fight, so he arranged for these guys to try to fall down 3 verses, demons, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Dantavakra and Kamsa. Shishupal and Kamsa. So this fall is, they come to carry out the will of the Lord. And so it's Seva, first of all. It's all arranged by Yoga Maya. Prabhupada said, it's a fact that no one falls from Vaikuntha. Okay, that's good. Let's look at another verse here. That's for relief. As there are millions of verses, we finally get to the spiritual world. There's a chance to fall down. It's not very inspiring. So it's not true. No one falls from the spiritual world. Not even a leaf.
He falls from Vaikuntha.
Yeah. It's a book by Sunday Raya. Not even a leaf falls, one leaf falls from a tree in Vaikuntha. Permanent leaves. Now let's look at chapter 2. Verse number 1, the summary of the chapter. This is very interesting. Hiranyakashipu is grieving over his brother's death. It's Hiranyaksha's older brother, younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah, younger brother got bumped off by Ra. He's lamenting. And while he's lamenting, he gave a lot of instructions about Dharma also. He was a very learned person, Hiranyakashipu. Because all these, of course, we say they're demons, but actually devotees in disguise. It's like a play. So let's look at what we have now. Let's read verse 21. This is the preaching of Hiranyakashipu. He's a good preacher. You want to learn how to preach, you should study the way Hiranyakashipu preaches. So demons can teach devotees how to preach. It sounds funny, but open Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, chapter 2, verse 20 to verse 30, is perfect preaching about Hambramasmi. And what's the difference between the body and the soul? and it's done by Hiranyakashipu. They're great verses. I'll read Prabhupada's commentary to show what Prabhupada said about that. Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya. So verse 21. So Hiranyakashipu is preaching to the wives of his younger brother and his mother and all his relatives, everybody about they're so lamenting and crying over the death of Hiranyaksha. So he preaches, he said, what's the big deal? People come together like straws in the ocean. Straws in the ocean come together in a sea foam and moss and what do you call it? Kelp, sea kelp. They float around together and one wave comes and breaks that group apart, and then straws go here and there. So people come together in families, and death separates them eternally, go different directions. So Prabhupada's commentary on verse number 21. Hiranyakashipu advised his family members, although the body of Hiranyaksha was dead, they should not lament, for the great soul of Hiranyaksha had already achieved its next destination. The Atma, spirit soul, is always unchangeable. We are spirit souls, but we're carried away by mental activities. We suffer from material conditions of life. So look at verse 22. It's very nice preaching. I mean, we don't want to glorify the demon, but he says, the Atma is eternal, without decay, pure, capable of going to all planets. Sarvaga, Sarvitpara. He experiences life everywhere, and is different from the body. By its ignorance, the Atma accepts a subtle body in order to accept or reject various gross bodies. You should understand. Oh, I don't like fighting this guy. It's heartbeat time, everybody. So take 5 seconds, take 5 minutes out to meditate on your favorite Thakurji. Jai Radhe. So Hiranyakashipu was preaching to his relatives to not lament for the death of Hiranyaksha. So he quoted a story of Yamaraj going to visit a king, Suyagya. King Suyagya died on the battlefield, and he was brought back to the palace. And the queens were sitting around the dead body of the king on the floor. And they were crying, "Oh Prabhu, you have been killed, now we have also died." Because distress is an opportunity for that. So this is Hiranyakashipu's preaching. But when Prahlad Maharaj preaches to him, he doesn't like it. Because he asked Prahlad Maharaj, what do you learn in school? Prahlad Maharaj started preaching the same thing. And then added bhakti to it. So you're not to buy your servant Krishna, Shravan Krishna Vishnu Smarnam, you should hear and chant and remember Vishnu. And then Hiranyakashipu became murderous, became crazy. So let's look at chapter 3. Hiranyakashipu meets Brahma. Why does he meet Brahma?
To
After his
become
escape.
eternal.
To get some mercy.
Benedictions, yeah.
He wants to get a boon, a benediction. So what he does, austerity. And he did austerity for a long time. He stood on tiptoes, his arms upward towards the sky. There's a nice picture of that. I'll show you. That's all we look at. It's really wild. Cool painting. The paintings are priceless. There he is in all his beauty. Oh, hold on, it's too high now. There is Mahayogi Hiranyakashipu standing on his twinkle toes, his tiptoes, arms reached, he's chanting Haribol, Haribol. His arms are reached over his head in kirtan. Haribol, Haribol. Unfortunately, he's not doing that.
Maybe that's what Prahlad saw.
He's trying to get the idea, I guess. I'll show this one too. He was staying on his tiptoes for thousands of years, and the ants built an anthill around his body, ate up all his skin. All he was left was his bones. His Atma was living in the bones.
That's nasty.
Huh?
I said that's nasty.
That's nasty.
That's gross.
Sure. The ants ate him up pretty good. We see in Vrindavan a lot, that happens. Some lizard falls down from the ceiling and knocks himself out. Yeah, that's not working. That doesn't work.
I'll bring it down so it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, I need to take it down, I guess.
Yeah, just so it doesn't get worse.
Just roll it up and
Yeah, it needs stronger tape.
use some tacks,
Yeah,
put tacks in it.
yeah, that would be good.
Tacks, little nails.
Reverse.
Does it roll the other way? Is that why it's fighting me?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. So he was doing his austerities for thousands of years, and finally Brahma came down to him and asked him what he wanted. said he wanted to live eternally, but Brahma said, I can't do that, so he asked different kinds of benedictions to not be killed by a demon or a devotee or animal, or in the day or night, or in the house or out of the house. That's all described in this chapter. There are many nice prayers to glorify Brahma. It actually is glorifying Brahma as if he was Vishnu. So everyone always likes to hear inflated glories of themselves. If someone glorifies you all, they exaggerate your glories, you won't tell them that's not true. It's okay. That's okay.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, go on. Keep laying it on. Because, the sweetest words in that language are your name, your glories. So our ego is always thirsty for self-gratification. So Brahma wasn't correcting him. Really, because he was saying, you're a creator, you're this, that, you're powerful. And he said, okay, what do you want? So he was flattering Brahma to get him on the good side. So he said, what do you want? He said, please don't let me die inside, outside, in my house, outside my house, this and that. Don't let me die by a living being or a devata or a snake or demon in battle or... So Brahma is saying, yes, yes. We'll find out next week what happened after that. Chapter 4, 5, and 6 we'll read next week. Next week there's no class. Next Saturday there's no class. Sunday there'll be a class. Appearance of Vaitacharya next Sunday, 25th. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, jai Shri Radhe.
Class is at what time, Gurudev? Next Sunday.
Next Sunday class at 4 o'clock.